Not one, not two. I feel really good about three, and there's possibly going to be a fourth.
You are Locked On USC, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Fight on, everyone. I am your host, Mark Holkin, and thank you for making Locked On USC part of the Locked On Network your first listen every day. Whether you are watching this show on YouTube, wherever you're going to download this podcast, it's always free. I always appreciate your support. Today's episode, it's brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers, you can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Keep banging the drums. Yesterday, it was TomTom Tapui. USC recruiting right now, it's starting to remind me, and some of you will be old enough to understand this analogy. It's starting to remind me of those Grateful Dead shows, you know, those soul circles with the drums and the bongos. The drums, the constant barrage of percussion that repeats itself over and over for hours and hours and hours. It doesn't stop. It never ends. It just, like, the more people who show up, the longer it goes. That's what USC football recruiting feels like right now. I think, just to kind of change subject a little bit, I think we might have to hold General Manager Chad Bowden's feet to the fire. He misled the Trojan family. He said USC was going to be getting 2 commitments this week. Lincoln Riley has already filled that quota. I mentioned Mater Dei's defensive tackle TomTom Tapui on Tuesday, April Fool's Day. He made a fool of the Oregon Ducks. It's always a good thing. He decommitted March 25th. 1 week later, he's banging the USC drums. And then one day after TomTom, you hear about wide receiver Kohen Brown. That's 2. 2 in 2 days. Chuck Woolery will be back in 2 and 2. Sorry, nostalgia. Anyways, I'm going to talk about Kohen in just 1 second. But how are we going to get to 3 and possibly 4? I have to hang on to the end of the segment about number 4. But what about Oaks Christian running back Deshaun Rideau? He's anticipated to make his choice Saturday. Everyone anticipates USC is going to be the place to be. I was pretty good at math. We're at 2. 1 more, that's 3. Before Saturday happens, we need to celebrate the announcement of wide receiver. Again, his name is Kohen Brown. He's from Waxahachie, Texas. Where is that? South of Dallas. It's best I can do for you. He flew into LA last week. And he spent a couple days, Tuesday and a Wednesday. So he was at USC's opening day for spring camp, stayed over an extra day. And apparently those 2 days on USC's campus, it left a mark on his heart. Literally. He believes in love on first sight. Quote, California is beautiful. I did not think I was going to love it this much. People told me I was going to like it a lot, but then I got there and they showed me a lot of love. I love the city out there. I love the campus. And I love how the players interact. I love the culture. And I just started falling in love with all of it. I think growing up, I think a lot of, he said them, he's referring to players in his area in Texas. They look at USC as a school, we're interested in. I mean, they've had great coaches, great players. And then Lincoln Riley, who doesn't want to play for Lincoln Riley? He pulls your attention. Coach Savage came in when he first got the job, and he offered me a couple of weeks later. After that, I found out I was a top priority for him. Some teams offer, and that's it. But USC kept in close contact. Oh, by the way, shout out to Max Steinecker. He stays in my phone and lets me know I am a priority early. I mean, that's a mouthful right there. It did not take long for him to say, I want to go to USC. I know what Texas can offer me. Let me tell you a little bit about Kohen. He just got done finishing his junior year in high school. 6 foot, 180 pounds. He finished that junior season with 54 catches, 1,000 yards, 1,084 to be exact. It means he was averaging 20 yards a catch. He also had 11 touchdowns. Earlier today, I was on the Inside the Trojan Huddle podcast that I do with Chris Arledge and Eric McKinney and Greg Katz over there on the wearesc.com site. Chris let us know, and he's from the area, so he knows the Dallas area well. He said, look, Cohen isn't playing against chumps. He's playing against elite competition. Now, according to the On3 industry, their rankings, he's the number 66 overall wide receiver in the country and the 57th best prospect in the state of Texas. That's pretty good. So he's a 3-star ranked by everyone. What's my rule? Don't care about the stars. Who's recruiting you? Well, USC, Ole Miss, Nebraska, Baylor, SMU, host of others. That's all you need to know. If Lane Kiffin wants you in his offense, it's good enough for Lincoln Riley's offense. One other bullet point about Cohen. He's just a 3-star, remember. He was laser timed in the 100, 10.79. We refer to that as fast. Go watch his huddle film. Very dynamic. Great hands. Speed to burn, obviously. If he catches the ball in stride, he's going to be running away from the defenders, and there's going to be separation. He's willing to go across the middle. He shows no fear. He's really a dynamic athlete. You can line him up in the backfield as well. I saw one highlight where he literally destroyed the cover 2 coverage. He just blew by the cornerback and the deep help safety. He was still coming across the field, and Cohen had already caught the ball and was running towards the corner of the end zone. That's how fast he is, how precise his route running is. So you got speed, you got hands, you got toughness. He can make all the different types of catches. I mean, that's a great combo. And again, USC's newest wide receiver coach, inside wide receivers, tight end coach, Chad Savage. He's the one who found him. I said at the top of the segment that there's a possibility. I don't know if this one's going to happen this weekend. That's why I said it's possible. And the reason I'm bringing it up is Steve Wiltfong from On3. He backed up Scott Schrader. He dropped the Fong bomb. So Jake Johnson, he's a defensive lineman. He's from Prosper, Texas. Eric Henderson's all over this young man. He was on USC's campus not too long ago as well, and he's going to be back there this weekend. He's bringing mom and dad. 6'3", 290 pounds. USC's among his top schools. And again, he's coming back this weekend. So he said, quote, I plan to return back to USC so that my mom and brother can see it. I want them to experience the same things I got to and get to learn about USC as well. I apologize. Mom and brother. I said dad. So once mom is in, once she's bought in, it's game over. Ring the victory bell. Yeah. USC's on a roll right now. Will they get 4 by the end of the week? Probably not. Will they have 3? I feel pretty confident saying yes. So, Chad Bowden, I appreciate it. You said 2. I need you to be a little bit more accurate. And for those of you who aren't sure, I am dripping with sarcasm right now. So put your negativity comments away. It's all complimentary right now. USC is doing well. I'm telling you, that circle, that recruiting circle, the drums, they're beating. And more just keep piling into this little soul circle. It's not little anymore. You got 19 commitments. Probably going to have 20 before the end of the week. And you're going to need to keep your energy up. So stick around. Speaking of energy, I'm not a morning person. So, you know what's really good for me? 5-hour energy. Whether you are staying up late watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in around a golf, working late, doing, covering USC football, whatever it is, 5-hour energy. It's going to give you that quick, refreshing pick me up whenever you need it. Whether I'm at football practice, whatever I'm doing, every now and then, if I don't have coffee nearby, I need a 5-hour energy. And here's what's cool. They got really great flavors. You got like 15 flavors you can choose from. If you like watermelon, that's one of my favorites. They got blue raspberry. They got something called peach mango. Give that a shot. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack, and they'll deliver it right to your front door. And again, if you need one right now, go grab a 5-hour energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store, and they're everywhere. Stock up today. Stay energized. I talked a little bit about the general, John Ray Reed, on yesterday's practice report segment of Locked on USC. If you missed it, it's because you're not a subscriber, you didn't click that bell notification button. Save yourself the trouble. If you're on YouTube right now, click that red subscribe button, smash that thumbs up. This show loves it when you do that. And click that bell notification so you don't miss an episode. I got something for you every day. That's a guarantee. So I talked about the general, John Ray Reed, one of USC's transfers through the winter transfer portal. He's projected to be possibly USC starting center. I think Killian O'Connor's going to have something to say about that. Don't be shocked if John Ray is starting on the offensive line in some capacity. On yesterday's episode, I told you that he has a giant personality. It's made for LA. I mean, his personality, it's as big as his massive body. USC's spring roster lists him at 6'3", 322 pounds. He's a big boy. He's a big man. The same way Travis Dye won me over with his storytelling when he arrived at USC, the general did the same thing. On Tuesday, the transfers, it was their indoctrination period. They got to talk to the media for the first time. And I think John Ray won the day. I mean, all of them did great, but my personal favorite right now, he's in the clubhouse. Dye, what I liked about Travis Dye is he loved to tell his teammates when they sucked. And what he was talking about was effort. He was holding his teams accountable. He wanted to make sure they were doing everything possibly the best they can be. So Travis Dye immediately became one of the team's experienced veteran leaders. And it wasn't just with words. So Lincoln Riley now has another one of those. John Ray can talk a good game, but it's his actions. He has a resume that he can say, hey, guys, listen to what I did to get here. He's got the perfect personal anecdote. So, again, I told you he has that fight on, never give up, perseverance. He just, there were some obstacles in his way, but it didn't stop him. So I asked him, how he got the general nickname. And basically, it came from a teammate. This is when he was at Hutchinson Community College. And it was during a game against, I told this, I told this part of the story yesterday. The opponent, he couldn't remember the name of the team. We're just going to call him the Purple Team. But it was a cold night, quiet game, not a lot of people in the stands, which meant his teammates were able to hear, very clearly every call and every command that John Ray was making. So when the team followed his commands, the offense ended up rushing for like 360 yards in that game. It also helped out that General Reed. He enjoys a rapper. His name is Kevin Gates. I don't know who it is. I apologize. But I guess around that time, Kevin had released a couple of albums, Only the Generals Gonna Understand and Only the Generals Part 2. So it was kind of Yahtzee. It all worked out perfectly at the right time. Now, so when one of his wide receivers on that team said, "Hey, big general," John Ray said, "Hey, I'm down. Let's do it." This is why I like him even more after hearing how his life story. This is how he told it. He said during high school he didn't really know if he wanted to play football going forward. This was like between his junior and senior season. He was into powerlifting, but all of a sudden he figured out, you know what, I do want to play football. Something went off, that light bulb turned on, and at that time though, he's like, "Uh-oh, I don't have the grades. I'm not Division I material." He said, "Yeah, I didn't have the grades. I had 0 stars as a recruit. No one knew who I was. Quote, I had 0 stars. I was a nobody." That resonated. And I'll get there. This thing's going to come full circle. You're going to understand here very shortly. So he didn't have the grades. No one was interested in him coming out of high school. He ended up enrolling at Blinn Community College. His mom got sick. He had to unenroll. He had to go back home, take care of family. Then COVID came around. So there's that gap. He all of a sudden he's got to, start over again. And that's when he ended up at Hutchinson JC. This is what he said. From there, it's just been head down working. His work is obviously paying off, right? He was selected a National Junior College All-American, second team All-American. That happened in 2022. Then he enrolled at Syracuse for the 2023 season, played 2 seasons there, started 25 games in 2 years. And he's obviously now at USC after jumping into the transfer portal. So I asked him, I said, how did you get to SC from the portal? How'd that whole process, how'd that journey work out? And he said, look, I was thinking about finishing his football and my academic career on the West Coast anyways. Quote, I grew up in the South, so I knew the South. I got my associates in the Midwest, Hutchinson, Kansas. I got my bachelor's on the East Coast, Syracuse. So the West Coast seems like a place to get a master's, right? Next thing you know, I end up seeing USC in my DMs on Twitter. I said, this can't be who I think it is. And then it ended up being who it was, end quote. So kind of like how Kohen Brown and everyone else who gives USC a chance, I say it all the time, just get them on campus and let USC do its thing. It'll sell itself. It's got that Midas touch. So Reed said it was during that trip that he realized USC was where he wanted to be. Quote, I was happy to hear from a prestigious school like this because I never imagined having a school like this reach out to me, end quote. So here we go, full circle. Remember, out of high school, he said it. He felt like a nobody. 4 grades, no direction. Now he's at USC earning a master's degree. And he's getting ready to take that final step to the NFL. This is why it's easy to gravitate to guys like this. They're winners. No matter what happens on the football field, he's already won the game of life. He understands what it takes to earn a chance to play for a prestigious school like USC. He gets it. It was funny. He actually, he thought the transfer portal process was going to be just like the regular recruiting process. He said it was way different. A lot more stuff involved. A lot more contact. So I asked him, looking back afterwards, it's probably not a great question, but I said, did you have multiple schools coming after you? And what I should have said was, did you have a lot of schools on USC's level coming after you? And quote, he's like, he got this big smile on his face, and like, of course. He's like, hell yeah, I could have had anything I wanted. And then he kind of showed a little bit of humility and humbled it up a little bit and explained his answer. So that was just a really good moment. He's like, I've earned it. I'm here. I could have had anything I wanted. And he's right. He was also asked about his thoughts on Waymont and Jordan because they were teammates for a year at Hutchinson. And he started going off on this tangent, talking about Waymont and their time at Hutchinson, traveling the dorms, riding the bus, all that kind of stuff. And he said, his work ethic, making it to USC, loves it. And then I think, my personal favorite, he saved his best quote for last. He said, watching Waymont out here practicing and having fun, quote, like a dog. He's off the leash. He's happy to hump, end quote. Right after he said that, you could hear Katie Ryan saying, who's USC's sports information director, okay, let's have one more. That's your signal. Last call for the interview. Again, great answer. Everybody was laughing. I instantly became a General Reed fan for life. So I think USC fans, this is going to be something you're really going to enjoy. I wanted to break that down even more. I went back, I watched the interview that we did, took some quotes, borrowed some stuff over there from Eric McKinney, who did a little bit of research over there on wearesc.com. By the way, go check it out. There's so much information there. Stuff I can't share here. It's $1 for 1 week. You'll appreciate it. All right, one more segment to go. The NCAA tournament, it's here, right? I think we're down to the Final Four. FanDuel's giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers, you can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything. You want to bet on a buzzer beater? Great. You got a Cinderella story? Not in this one, but there's a whole bunch of ways you can cut down the nets using FanDuel. And FanDuel keeps you in the action with tournament games happening almost every day. Well, not anymore. There's going to be something for you to bet on. And it's easy and it's fast. The FanDuel app is simple. You know how much I like to tell you. When you win, you get paid instantly. Like, there's no waiting around. Visit FanDuel.com. Get in on the college hoops action for the rest of the tournament. Final Four. Well, how do I want to go? I got a direct message in my on Twitter from one of my everydayers who watches this show. He sent me a picture of his Trojans man cave, just one wall. This particular wall, I've seen the entire man cave. It's freaking amazing. This wall had each one of USC's 8 Heisman Trophy winners, the jerseys, framed, mounted in order. All 8 of them. Looks awesome. And he sent the question, Mark, who do you think will win USC's next Heisman? And he said, I think it's going to be Husan Longstreet. It's not a bad choice, especially with Lincoln Riley at the controls, right? He's got Husan. He came into USC early, got there in December, got a chance to work out with the team going into the bowl, the win against Texas A&M, where he was formally committed to. So he had that. But he's already into the playbook, and Coach Riley said he's already further along than most should be. So, again, another quarterback Heisman winner makes sense. But the question got me thinking. And I was thinking, I said, Mark, what would mean more to Coach Riley? You see me working here, right? Another quarterback Heisman winner? Or his first non-quarterback to win the award? What if is Makai Lemon, can he do that Charles Woodson pose? No. Can he do it as a wide receiver and a returner? Don't forget, USC played around a little bit with Makai at defensive back his freshman year. He's a football player. He's an athlete. And then I started thinking a little deeper. This one's on Coach Riley. What if What if one of Coach Riley's running backs won a Heisman Trophy? And out of all places, tailback you. I'm going to ask him this question. Which would mean more to him? What do you think? I mean, right now on the roster, I brought up Mekhi Lemon because Travis Hunter just pulled off the feet, two-way player at Colorado. Mekhi Lemon, he has a similar skill set, wide receiver, return specialist. Is there a running back winner on USC's roster now or in the very near future? You got Waymon Jordan, Brian Jackson, Eli Sanders, Riley Wormley, Harry Dalton. We've got Sean Alston, who's squatting 455 pounds, working out by himself in Ohio, working out with his team. We're anticipating Deshaun Rideau being part of the Trojan family here soon. I can tell you this. It will not be Amarian Peterson. I guess this is the perfect way to slide in this little note. Amarian made it known he's jumping into the transfer portal. Look, I talked about this. I talked about the possibility of this happening with that group. There's too many running backs, a lot of talent. But what do you think would mean more to Coach Riley? Winning another Heisman, mentoring a quarterback at USC, like Husan Longstreet or Jaden Mayaba? Or all of a sudden looking up into the peristyle and seeing one of his running backs, one of those jersey numbers up there? Again, I'm going to ask Coach Riley when the time is right. I'm curious what his answer would be. What do you think? Again, USC is known as tailback U. All those Heisman winners, OJ, Reggie, Mike Garrett, Marcus Allen, Charles White. What do you think? That's my challenge to Coach Riley. Plant that seed. All right. That's it for this episode of Locked on USC. Tomorrow's episode, I will have another practice report. I'm also going to have my Friday rant, and we'll see what other surprise I might be able to slip into the show. So until then, everyone, you know what to do.